there, it's Beauty Junkay. Welcome to my channel. Today I am getting into a deep dive into the new Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette. This is from the Rose collection. Very excited. Lots of rusty shades. I would call this a fall palette, even though it came out in April. I think the toppers in here are excellent quality. And the mattes are stunning and the creams are stunning. So there's a lot to be impressed about in this palette. Today I'm going to get into swatches, comparisons. I have 3 looks to show you and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So let's get into the details of the palette really quick. This is a $68 palette full price. This is the second eyeshadow palette from Patrick Ta. This is my first product from Patrick Ta, so keep that in mind. If you get it during the Sephora sale, you can get up to 10 to 20% off depending on your rewards status. The sale, by the time this comes out, the sale will probably be over, but if you go to Patrick Ta's site, you can pick this up on his site. And if you're a new customer, you can get 15% off with a code, so something to think about. With this palette, you get 12 shades, 2 creams, 5 mattes, 5 toppers. One of the 5 toppers is more of a shimmer. You got this rose gold kind of pinkish packaging. You have a plastic cover over the cream shadows. You have the names on the back, very small though. And there is 0.065 ounces of product in the cream shadows and 0.06 ounces of powder in the powder shadows. All right, so that is the palette. Those are the details. All right, so let's get into showing you guys the swatches. The first set of swatches is creams, then the mattes, and then the toppers, and then I layer the toppers on top of the mattes. So you guys can see that combination there. You've seen the swatches. Hopefully that is helpful on a lighter skin tone. Let's talk about comparisons. So when I first tried this, not actually comparing side by side, when I was trying the toppers and swatching everything, I was like, wow, this topper formula looks very similar to Pat McGrath. So I pulled out a few Pat McGrath options, Pat McGrath Mothership palettes, and just not so much wanted to try to find similar colors in the topper special shades, but I wanted to just feel the glitter topper formula and see like how smooth is Pat versus Patrick, how pigmented, how much glitter is in there, you know, just comparing, you know, which one do I like better. I think as far as looks goes, some of the shades comparing, like this is from the Venus and Floors Luxe Claude Voyeuristic Vixen. This is Rose Fire Nectar. Just comparing this one. And then some other shades from, what is this? Midnight Sun palette. Some of these. I would say some of Pat's are definitely more pigmented. Her special shades are, some of them have a lot more color behind them. And then some of them don't. But I still would say overall, Pat McGrath's formula is just smoother to the touch. Even though they have a lot of glitter, a lot of pigment, they're high impact shine, they're smooth. Patrick's, it's not as smooth. I'll just like feel wise, it's a little chunky, but I'd still say it's decently smooth to the touch. Even though, I mean, I think you can see the texture there. But when I look at like the topper in this quad, it's also a little bit textured. It's not as smooth. So I think, you know, they're not exactly the same. If you really want to nitpick, I would say Pat McGrath's overall is better. More pigment, more shine, smoother touch. With Pat's, you can use less product than with Patrick. But I would say he's like pretty close in quality. Even though it's not the same, it's still very good is what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't call this formula an exact dupe like I initially thought. You really gotta feel things side by side and look at them side by side to really know. I'm gonna show you those comparisons. I'm gonna show you my swatches that I pulled out from my Pat McGrath collection, just so you guys can see like visually the difference. Some of you will think, wow, they're pretty close, and some of you will think they're not close at all. So just wanted to show you what those are like, and I'll go ahead and pop those up now. All right, so now that you have seen the comparisons, you guys can make a decision whether or not you need this in your collection. So let's get into trying out some more looks. I'm gonna do 3 looks today. 2 of them are going to be new, and then the 3rd look is from my first haul video. I don't wanna recreate the wheel. I can only do so many things with this palette. So let's get into that. All right, I'm gonna start out with look number 1, and we're gonna go really deepest shades in the palette, okay? This is probably not gonna look that great on me because I'm so pale. Or you can just think of it as being like a very dramatic look, whatever you wanna do. So I'm gonna use the darkest cream in here, the darkest matte, and the darkest shimmer. This isn't really a topper because it has a lot of pigment behind it. But we're going to use all those, and I may supplement with something lighter in the inner corner, but we shall see. So I'm going to use my finger to apply this darkest cream shade here, and this looks exactly like chocolate, like melted chocolate. It looks delicious, but don't eat it. Okay, so moving on to this deep matte shade here. I'm gonna start on the under eye and work my way around. So I'm very chocolatey cocoa eyes right here. I'm gonna take a little bit of the palest shade in the inner corner, just a little bit, peach, and make things a little bit more peachy in this corner. I think that lightened things up slightly. I'm going into this purple tone shimmery shade here and taking my flat brush again and just pat this over the corner. See how dark it is. So I think that purple shade swatched really pretty on the eye. I think it's just okay. Even though it's the most pigmented, it doesn't really stand out as being like that substantial on the eye. Like the reflect just isn't really there, even though like it's a satiny, shimmery kind of a look. It's not that shimmery, so I'm just not getting a lot of reflect and sparkle. I think it's an interesting choice because the rest of the top row is very sparkly, so I don't know, maybe, I guess the other palette that he has probably has a shade in there similar, but this one, maybe if I take my finger I'll get a little better payoff. Oh yeah, that's much better actually with the finger. The brush, it was just kind of weak. Actually, I'm not going to use an eyeliner because we're doing multiple looks and that's a lot, but I'm going to apply a little mascara just to complete the look a little bit more. All right, here is the look. I'm thinking about putting a little bit of gold or maybe this light pink topper in the corner just to spice it up. Let's do a little bit of pink. Let's just mix a little bit of both. It just opens the eye a little bit more. We're very kind of closed in with all these dark colors, so I just want to open it up just a little bit. Add a little bit of a contrast too to the rest of the look. Right, here is the final first look with lips and mascara on. I do really like the smoky aspect to this look. It's a maroon look. It's very fall. It's very smoky, sexy, and for the most part, most of these shades are really easy to apply. I did have a little bit trouble of that with that maroonish, purplish, sparkly shimmer shade, but the rest of everything blended out just fine. When I was taking photos, I did feel like, while I like the smoky look, I don't know if it's the colors or maybe it's just the way I applied it, but I felt like the deep, like the very much everything's very deep tones kind of dragged me down, like my eyes down. I don't know, I feel like these colors make me a little bit tired, or look tired, not as awake, not as fresh. So I could see wearing this maybe at nighttime when you're not expected to look so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I don't know, maybe it's just the reddish tones around my eyes doesn't quite do it for me in the youth department. I do like it though, like I would still wear these colors. It's just, I don't know, something about it just makes me feel a little bit old. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way about your makeup, that you're like, I don't look so young today. But otherwise, I enjoyed putting this together. It did surprise me. So anyways, that's the first look. All right, on to the second look. Now I'm gonna get into much more red territory. I'm gonna use these two shades here in the lightest cream shade, and then we'll go from there. All right, so starting with the light cream shade, using my finger again, just swiping over the lids. This cream eyeshadow like just glides on so easily. All right, so that is down. Now I'm gonna take my brush into the matte shade here. Ooh, pigmented. All right, and now I'm going to take this glittery topper shade that has a lot of gold in it. I'm gonna use my finger and just, ooh, that is really pretty. Oh, wow, look at that fiery shade. I'm gonna take the middle matte shade here, so a little bit lighter underneath the eye. So I don't mind a little red tone eyeshadow. I mean, I like the rusty look. It's very much fall, and I'm getting glitter everywhere because I just use that finger to blend on that eyeshadow. I have a nude eyeliner from Junkay. This is the Brightening Eye Kajal in Nude. Let's see what this does. All right, a little bit brighter. All right, I cleaned up a little bit with concealer, touched up the powder. I really like the glitter topper. I don't know about the rest of the eyeshadow underneath. It's a little bit messy. I think it's fine. I just really like the glitter topper, I think. I like the color with that one. I'm gonna do some lips and then I will show you the final look. All right, here is the final look. for look number 2. I just put on a clear lip gloss, the Dior Lip Glow Oil in Hollow Pink, just because I wanted a little bit of sparkle down here as well as on my eyes, and I am liking the way this looks in the sun, the bright sun, just because that gold really sparkles beautifully. And this is a fairly easy look to put together. You just swipe on that cream shadow. It helps things stick, that whatever goes on top. And I mean, I can make this a little bit more smoky and nuanced and add a little bit more definition that's deeper, but I'm okay with what I came up with. So this is our final look for number 2, and I'm gonna show you the look I put together in my initial Sephora haul video where I tried on my first look from this palette, and I'll go ahead and show you the final look from that. And I'm gonna start off with this cream shade as a base. Loyal, this is the lighter cream shade. I'm gonna put this on my eyes first with my finger. This is Devotion, I believe, this one here. You guys can see how deep that middle color matte shade is. These 2 shades here, okay. Now we're getting lighter as we go. So I don't know the order of the shades here, but we're going in with this one across the lid. I know it's looking rough so far, but I love the formula. I don't know that I love these shades right off because they're so deep for me. Like I'm just gonna be limited in how often I can use this. Because now we're on to the lightest shade. And I feel like if these were turned like to 50% lighter, each of these shades, this would be a lot more wearable for me. But this is a pretty like dramatic daytime look just using matte shades, which is pretty. It's gonna be a little bit more challenging for me. But this is the lightest shade, matte shade here in the inner corner, and it is pretty. So there is all matte's dusty look. We could go even deeper. Let's just do a little bit of a deeper shade for funsies, yeah? Let's go into this deepest dark chocolate matte here. I almost want to call this palette Fire Collection more than Rose. What do you guys think? Does this scream rose color story to you? That being said, these are just the mattes, so we're gonna get into the glitters, and I'm gonna use my finger. All right, question is, which topper do I want to use? This is very pink, and maybe this is where the rose comes from. I think I'm gonna go with the pinkest shade, which I think is Lust, on the lid here. Ooh. So pretty. Kind of want to go into the gold on the inner corner here. Ooh. That is a dangerous brush. What a beautiful palette. Are you guys seeing this? So pretty and stunning, and very much a summer sunset desert vibe to me. So I showed you swatches of the palette, comparisons, 3 looks. We really got in depth into this one. So here are my final thoughts on the palette to let you know if I recommend it or not. So keep in mind, this is my first Patrick Ta product, first Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette as well. And I do think it is really nice quality overall for the price. It is on the higher end. We're talking almost $70 full price, but if you can get 15-20% off, I think this palette is worth it if you like this color story and you're interested in trying out Patrick's formulas. His creams are great. His mattes are really nice, super soft, very pigmented. I think you'll be happy with them. Just keep in mind, you know, this is not so much a rose palette for the mattes. They're more reddish browns, rustiness, not a lot of pink here except for when you get into the glitter toppers. These toppers are really smooth, but at the same time kind of crumbly texture. They're not the smoothest topper eyeshadow. And you know, if you like topper shades to pair with a matte, I think this palette makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think each combination is really pretty. I did have the most trouble probably blending out this guy, and it just wasn't as punchy as I wanted it to be. But otherwise, the rest of the palette is wonderful. Now, I think you can get a good variety, but we're still in the brown, rusty, red tone shades throughout the palette. So it's not like you're gonna pull out some green look one day, some blue. I mean, it is what it is. What you see is what you get. So it's not like you're gonna get like a full-on beautiful pink look with some of these colors. That's not really the case. But overall, I like it. It's nice quality packaging, beautiful mirror. I think the quality of the products is here. It's just a matter of like, do you have these shades already in your collection? Do you like pigmented shadows? Do you like kind of building on similar tones in your look? Do you like sparkle? These are all questions you have to answer yourself. I personally really like it. I mean, I know some people are being really picky about it and say, oh, it could be better. Sure, but remember, our top quality, like topper shades, can get super expensive on their own. So I think the quality of this is just fine. I think it was going to work for a lot of people. But if you are fair skin tone, just keep in mind these might look a little bit deeper on the skin than they do in the palette. So I mean, ultimately it's up to you if you think you need this. I would say it's not very rosy though, which I didn't really look at the shades before I bought this, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be a bit rosier. But that's it for my thoughts. If you want to see more looks from this palette, if you want to see me use this palette in the future more, you want me to use a specific shade that you didn't see me use, please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.